MrBeast Burger.
MrBeast Burger.
MrBeast Burger.
Some MrBeast Burger.
3, 2, 1.
It's just like a dreamy burger.
Overall, the burger is good.
It's good. I will say that.
I love that pressed grill flavor.
Alright, he's onto something here.
What can't this dude do right?
That's incredible.
These are the reasons why MrBeast is becoming McDonald's worst nightmare. McDonald's vs. MrBeast Burger. On May the 15th, 1940, brothers Richard and Maurice McDonald opened the first McDonald's branch in San Bernardino, California. After the McDonald's brothers introduced the speedy service system in 1948, the company began to enjoy great success by expanding the use of modern fast food restaurant principles that its predecessor, White Castle, had implemented 2 decades earlier. As you can see, McDonald's was not exactly the first hamburger restaurant to invent fast food restaurants, but it was responsible for bringing the service model to its peak. The years went by, and McDonald's became one of the world's largest hamburger restaurants. Today, the company of Ronald McDonald sells 2.5 billion hamburgers a year. That's the equivalent of selling 75 hamburgers per second, or 6.5 million hamburgers per day. Yet, after 80 years, a young and revolutionary YouTuber known as MrBeast could jeopardize everything McDonald's has built so far. But who is this guy, and why does he pose a danger to the biggest fast food chain in history? MrBeast, also known as Jimmy Donaldson, is responsible for creating MrBeast Burger in partnership with Virtual Dining Concepts. Although Jimmy is only 24 years old, he has more than 116 million subscribers on his YouTube channel, making him the YouTuber with the most subscribers in the platform's history. Since his humble beginnings in 2011, MrBeast has made all sorts of videos to entertain his fans, including tutorials, video game tricks, and reactions to the worst intros on the internet. However, it was his super challenges and expensive stunts that made him one of the biggest YouTubers in history. And naturally, that also made him one of the most influential people on Earth. Like many other forms of influencer marketing, the main advantage of the MrBeast brand is that it has a built-in customer base. And compared to other celebrities, it has a much more positive image, as Jimmy has become famous for helping those affected by the pandemic, doing selfless charity work, and giving away money to those who need it most. So if MrBeast said his favorite drink was an unknown soda brand, millions of people would buy it the next day without even questioning it. And if he said he wanted to open a restaurant, you can be sure there would be an endless line of people waiting to eat one of his burgers. In fact, that is what happened when MrBeast Burger opened. That day, thousands of people stood in line for more than 12 hours. That's the power of being an extremely influential person. That's why we're not talking about a restaurant that will struggle to win over its first customers, but a burger joint that already has the support of one of the best-known personal brands in the world. And this brand is constantly growing. Each MrBeast video is translated into multiple languages, which has made its reputation cross borders. So, MrBeast Burger has the potential to do business in any country it pleases. And that could end up being a big problem for McDonald's. So it has customers and a reputation, but how many restaurants does he own? Well, that's the most amazing part about his company. MrBeast Burger is a delivery-only brand, meaning that each burger is prepared in ghost kitchens and then delivered to your door. Currently, there are about 1,000 kitchens under the MrBeast Burger name in North America and Europe, and they have plans to continue and expand dramatically. A ghost kitchen is a standalone kitchen with no additional facilities, where restaurant owners can focus on making takeout or home-delivered meals. These kitchens can be designed to meet the needs of a single restaurant or, as in the case of MrBeast Burger, cater to an entire chain of restaurants. In other words, MrBeast Burger does not have physical stores where you can sit down to eat, which helps it to drastically reduce its costs. Therefore, its licensing agreements are much cheaper than franchises like McDonald's, where the owners need to have a restaurant with a big red and yellow sign, and employees who take orders directly. Here, no inspector will come to complain to you because your restaurant doesn't have the same decor as the other 38,000 branches. But why is this a good thing for the company? And how has MrBeast transformed this restaurantless system into a competitive advantage for your business? Well, if you remember the origins of McDonald's, you might know that the reason for its success wasn't exactly being a fancy restaurant. In fact, it was an affordable burger joint that prioritized fast service. And that's exactly what MrBeast has been doing with its virtual restaurants. All you need to do to get your own MrBeast Burger is to order it through the app and wait wherever you are. When McDonald's started, there was no such thing as meal apps. Despite this, the McDonald's brothers devised a whole system that allowed them to prepare and serve food in the shortest possible time, dispensing everything unnecessary. In this way, they managed to reduce the cost of their hamburgers and be faster than their competitors. Fortunately, MrBeast has not had to invest 15 years in developing the same system, as it has simply had to replicate it and incorporate modern technology to speed up the process of preparing its burgers. Thanks to its virtual model, MrBeast Burger can serve its customer at a faster rate than McDonald's, without customers having to wait to be served in a restaurant. So you can order a burger and get on with other things while your food is on its way. You may be thinking that McDonald's also has its own food ordering app, and you're right. However, that's not the mainstay of the modern McDonald's business. Many people go to McDonald's to pick up their food at the drive-thru or sit down to eat in their restaurants. But MrBeast Burger's target is not those customers, but those who don't like to physically wait at a place. And that's a problem since McDonald's is no longer synonymous with fast service. When it was one of the first fast food chains, McDonald's was a completely innovative restaurant. However, many restaurants have now replicated its process and taken away the one thing that made it a unique burger joint. Without going any further, today, it's slower to eat at McDonald's than at any other local burger joint, as the brand's reputation has ended up playing against it. Just remember how often you have waited at the drive-thru to eat a cold burger. This has worked against McDonald's and has led it to become the very type of fast food chain it wasn't meant to be. A fast food chain with slow service. If there is a reason McDonald's has managed to hold on to its throne for so long, it's because no burger joint has ever dared to compete with it on its own turf, except for Burger King. And even so, I would go as far to say that not even Burger King could beat it, because it's not brought anything new to the formula. The same thing happened when Pepsi tried to compete with Coke by selling the same kind of drink without bringing anything more innovative than a different logo. This is where things get interesting. It's not like MrBeast burgers are something from another planet. They're delicious, but they're still burgers. However, since the entire brand is based on the concept of creating a virtual restaurant, MrBeast Burger has something that the rest of the burger joints lack. It's unique in its field, in the same way that McDonald's was the only fast food chain for a long time. But even if we consider all these things, MrBeast Burger may not have what it takes to become the first company to dethrone McDonald's. After all, it took 15 years for McDonald's to be found by a business expert like Ray Kroc. But what if I told you that MrBeast already has its own Ray Kroc? And no, I'm not saying it has a clone of the late Kroc, but it has something much more important to guarantee its success. As you may recall, McDonald's used to be a family restaurant until it became a franchise. It was franchising that turned McDonald's into a fast food empire. Yet, MrBeast Burger didn't have to wait a single day to have hundreds of restaurants. In fact, during its first night of launch alone, MrBeast already had 300 locations in the United States. To put this into perspective, it took In-N-Out Burger more than 70 years to acquire 358 locations. Unlike the McDonald's brothers, who were innovative geniuses but had a lot to learn about business, MrBeast is a fusion of the innovative mind of the McDonald's brothers and the entrepreneurial spirit of Roy Kroc. In addition, he is a business-obsessed man who has made a fortune with his videos, which require months of dedication and hard work. So, he's the right guy for the job. Each MrBeast video is based on the premise that it's more exciting than the last. Like the time he bought an entire car dealership and paid his customers to buy his cars. Or that day when he ate a $70,000 golden pizza. He even paid his customers to go eat at one of his restaurants. While this may seem like a waste of money, it's one of the reasons behind his success. In fact, MrBeast would never have become such a successful YouTuber if he hadn't reinvested his earnings into his channel. Many people underestimate the work that goes into being a YouTuber and the hundreds of hours of production and editing that goes into making a super production like the ones MrBeast does. And sometimes, these productions require the work of dozens of people. As in this other occasion, where MrBeast hired an entire crew to recreate every single set of the Squid Game in real life, and had 456 people compete for a $456,000 prize. If he has spent that money, it is because he's certain that his investment will help him more. This is the biggest proof that Jimmy understands how business works, knows how to manage teams, and has the money to make MrBeast Burger a success. But more importantly, he also has the mentality and ambition that McDonald's has lacked for decades. That's not to say that McDonald's is going to disappear overnight, as that's pretty unlikely. But so far, MrBeast is proving to have everything it needs to become a worthy rival. And given that Jimmy is not the type of guy to settle for being number 2, we could see his company expanding in no time. In July 2022 alone, MrBeast revealed that his restaurants in America shared more than $100 million in revenue. And I can assure you that he has probably already reinvested every penny earned to further grow his brand, as that's the business model he used to become the #1 YouTube star. Nevertheless, no matter how much money or reputation he has, if his burgers aren't tasty, it will only be a matter of time until his burger joint goes out of fashion and dies. So let's now analyse how good MrBeast Burger's menu is compared to McDonald's. First, we must consider that MrBeast Burger is a very new burger chain with a very limited menu. This is the same problem that McDonald's suffered in its origins, when its menu consisted of hamburgers, soft drinks, French fries, milk, coffee, pie, and milkshakes. On the other hand, MrBeast Burger's menu offers a little more variety for a newly founded company. For example, we have the Chandler-style burger made of 2 smashed seasoned burgers topped with plenty of melted American cheese. Or the Beast-style fries that contain sweet caramelized onions, melted American cheese, mayonnaise, mustard, pickles, and ketchup. The next thing we have to consider is what people think about their food. I've seen some comments from people saying that MrBeast Burger became popular because of the hype, and I think that they are absolutely right. Sadly, it's not possible to live on hype forever. In fact, hype can become somewhat counterproductive if your products or services don't meet your customers' expectations. Surprisingly, MrBeast Burgers have managed to exceed expectations. They are delicious and are considered better than those offered by their competitors. This is not something only said by me, but by the thousands of people who have eaten at McDonald's, Burger King, and MrBeast Burger. And believe me, if this doesn't pose a threat to McDonald's, then I don't know what will. In fact, I think it's unlikely that we're going to see another burger joint present McDonald's with as much competition in the next few years. So this may be the only chance we have to see the biggest fast food chain get beaten. Interestingly, it doesn't look like McDonald's is doing much to stop the growing success of MrBeast Burgers, because, as the movie The Founder says, McDonald's real business is not burgers but real estate. As you know, McDonald's is not exactly a burger joint famous for making the most delicious burgers on the planet. I'm pretty sure you'll know of a small burger joint in your town that serves tastier burgers than McDonald's, and even then, barely makes ends meet. Meanwhile, most McDonald's restaurants manage to amass a fortune a month by serving a lower quality product. Why do you think this is happening? Let's just say that since the arrival of Ray Kroc, McDonald's has gone from being a family restaurant to a money-making machine. It has the support of banks all over the world and hundreds of multimillionaires who benefit daily from the brand's profits. That's why if MrBeast is to dethrone McDonald's, it will need more than just better burgers. However, MrBeast Burger may have already found something that other burger joints lack. It has fame, money, and millions of investors willing to purchase a MrBeast Burger franchise as soon as they are given the chance. So, if MrBeast Burger plays its cards right, it could start one of the biggest empires in the industry. An empire that would make his YouTube channel earnings look like a handout compared to the millions of dollars he will earn daily. Another possible outcome of the rivalry between MrBeast Burger and McDonald's is that the latter ends up buying Jimmy's company to expand its business. That way, they will get rid of their future biggest rival before the company becomes powerful enough to become a major threat. Of course, McDonald's probably won't decide to acquire MrBeast Burger until the company has a presence in more countries worldwide, or McDonald's sales begin to be seriously threatened in the US and Europe. What McDonald's doesn't know is that Jimmy is not the kind of guy who cares too much about money. And that's something that poses a bigger threat to McDonald's than anything he's said so far. Let's suppose MrBeast Burger manages to dethrone McDonald's. Even if that were the case, McDonald's would have plenty of capital to buy out its chief rival and then take it over. And given that they've been selling franchises all over the planet for decades, they could pay whatever MrBeast asked for in exchange for their company. However, if MrBeast Burger were to grow big enough to become a threat, it's unlikely that he would end up selling his company to one of his main competitors. In fact, if all he cared about was getting enough money to retire, he could have done it years ago and not gone back to work. But as those of us who follow MrBeast know, Jimmy is passionate about what he does. He's the kind of influencer you want as an ally and not as a competitor. And that's the problem for his competitors, because if the biggest YouTuber in history, with a community of 116 million people, says he won't sell you his company, it's only a matter of time until he ends up crushing you. Every video posted by MrBeast grows his brand more, and every time he grows his personal brand, more people want to buy his burgers. In the same way, MrBeast's burgers managed to attract more people to his channel. How many hamburger restaurants do you know of that have that much interaction with their customers? Another big difference between McDonald's and MrBeast Burger is that we can see the people behind the brand in the latter. We know its founder, and we know that he's a real person and not some board of men in suits. And that's a better sales strategy than having a 30-second commercial starring Rihanna or Travis Scott. It's what makes MrBeast Burger have a soul. You may think that I'm a big McDonald's hater, but I actually think MrBeast Burger's success could benefit the entire industry. Think of it this way. We have plenty of evidence to prove that monopolies are one of the worst things that could happen to the market. When a company has no real competition, its products and services start to become much more mediocre. Companies need to have a competition to thrive and provide better service. Likewise, if MrBeast Burger were the only burger joint on earth, I can assure you that it wouldn't be too long before their burgers would start arriving cold. And the delivery service would start getting slower. Competition is good for business. And that's why MrBeast Burger could become McDonald's worst nightmare or the cause of its salvation. That is, as long as another, more famous YouTuber doesn't emerge in the next decade to displace MrBeast Burger with their own fast food chain. Because that's how trends work. But what do you think about MrBeast Burger? Do you believe it could become McDonald's worst nightmare? Let us know in the comments below. And before you leave, click on the next video to learn why the Gulf states keep building dumb mega projects. See you soon.